Hey everybody, Jared here. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a ball move around a screen in Unity. So this is a simple basic tutorial that'll hopefully get you down to the fundamentals of Unity game programming, knowing how things operate, knowing why things operate, and I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty guys, so first thing we need to do is just go ahead and click on Unity. And this will open up this blank screen and it says welcome to Unity. So we don't really want to go through any tutorials, but you can go through those tutorials if you want and explore through Unity. This is just sort of this tutorial is going to be sort of just the basics completely because I'm still learning myself. So this is a good way to actually teach yourself how to teach yourself more and more about Unity if you do these type of videos. So that's why I'm doing this video for you guys. So hopefully you guys get something good out of this. Today we are going to make this a ball move. And we're going to make it move and hit another ball and add some physics to it. So bear with me, this is new to me, so hopefully you guys enjoy this tutorial and you get something out of it. So first thing we want to do is actually change the window, and I actually don't like this default layout that it gives me. The layout I like is tall, and then you click and drag this game item right down below the scene right here. Now you can explore through all the other layouts such as 2x3 or 4 split, or wide. So those are all your options that you have. I prefer to have tall, and that's just my personal preference. So I'm just going to go ahead, click and drag game down here. And of course you can always just click and drag and add these anywhere you want on your scene. So I am only going to mess with this as much as I can. Just go to your window and we're going to make this tall again. Alright, so that is how you just easily manipulate the layout around your scenes, or in your environment that you're programming in. So right over here, we want to edit. I'm just going to make this so you can actually see the whole game. Right now it's just showing you a blank screen and it's not showing you the whole thing. So right now we want to change this game ratio to be 3:4. You can also change it to 16:9, and it also changes according to the camera that's on the scene right here. So 16:9, I'm just going to make mine 3:4, like so. So it just gives me this nice portrait layout that fits an iPad per se. So now that works, and first thing we want to do is just go ahead and I'm going to create a 3D object, and this is going to be a cube. Now right now you'll see that the cube is white up here, but it turns out it's gray over here. So the way to fix this is actually to add a light, because in Unity you actually have to have light color covering everything. So you can make different types of lights. You can make a directional light, and all a directional light is basically, say we come over here. You can easily also manipulate between 2D and 3D, so just by clicking on this button. And then you can move it around in the space like so. So right here I just have this light, and as you can see it's pointing downwards, and when I'm changing it nothing changes on the scene down below, because this light right here just means there's a light continuously flowing in that same direction from anywhere. It doesn't matter where this light itself is placed, it's always going to be a light that's shining in this direction. Now there are of course other lights, so that we can already click on our directional light right here and change the type to spotlight. And a spotlight, it sounds just like it is. I'm going to go ahead and make this cube a bit bigger so I can demonstrate what a spotlight is. So one way you can make this cube bigger is clicking up here to your shaper. I don't really know what this is called, but you just go ahead and click on that, and according to the way that you drag this right here, it changes on both sides. So it's an easy way to get equal length on both sides of the screen. And of course you have this one, which just is your typical, I'm going to change this to the way I like it, but I'm just going to do the rest with that. Alright, so now a spotlight, as you can see, it is a spotlight. And I'm just going to rotate this so it's at a 90-degree angle. And you can also get really specific into where you're spotlighting it from just by going into your inspector over here and just changing the rotation. We can say the rotation has a 0, x-axis, a 0 y-axis, and a 0 z-axis. So now it's going to be perfectly facing in the direction that I want it to be. Now, of course, if you were to rotate it by an x-axis of 45 degrees, it would point downwards like so. But yeah, anyway, that is basically how you change a spotlight and manipulate it. And you can also change the range the spotlight is going, so you can make it a range of 100, and that just typically makes it a lot more intense. And you can change the angle, like how wide this spotlight is going to cover. You can make it very precise, or you can make it much larger. And then you have the intensity. You can change the intensity just by doing that. But anyway, that's enough for that light. We can also change it to just a point light, which is basically a ball of light to me. So this would be great if you were doing like a street lamp, or actually maybe not a street lamp, but basically just like a nice light that lights up a whole area according to that light, and there's really nothing intruding the way. Instead of like a spotlight, it's just a ball of light. That's the best way I can explain it. And then you have this area light. So this really doesn't work because it requires a Unity Pro. So that will not work, but you can always just use spot and directional. I'm going to be using directional light for this tutorial, and I'm going to change the intensity back down to 0.5. Alright, so now we have our cube right here, and we want to change the color of this cube to be a red color. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a new material down in your projects file right here. Just go down here and say create new material, like so. And basically all this material is, it's a way to add certain things onto, like it's the way you color and create patterns and color onto your scene. So right here I'm gonna click and drag this new material onto my cube that I have, and then now I can just change the color of this like so, and it'll change according to the cube that I have right here. So yeah, exactly like so. And say you want a pattern on top of that cube. I have a brick wall right here. I'm just going to import that into my projects file right here. You can just grab any JPEG image or PNG image and just import that. And then right here now I have this brick wall, but so I just want to add that as a texture onto my new material. So I can just easily click and drag that brick wall into my shader, right into my new material, like so. So now we have this brick wall texture, and also it's looking a bit pink because you're not having it white. So now I have it white, and now it's exactly the same brick wall that we had as the file. So you can also change the tiling. So say I want it to have 3 brick walls lining on the x-axis, or 3:4 aspect ratio basically. So I'm going to do that because I think that looks alright. It doesn't look its best. Of course, I just pulled this off the internet. Yeah, it's just a tutorial, so it doesn't really matter. And then right now, that looks like a brick wall. So anyway, let's go ahead and create some walls that are going to be able to bounce off, that the ball is able to bounce off of. So just go ahead and say create a new 3D object, and this is going to be a cube, and we're going to just move this right outside of our scene like so, maybe even a bit more. Alright, right outside of our scene like so, and then you just go ahead and stretch it out so it covers this whole side of the wall right here. And then go ahead and copy and paste that just by going Command-C, Command-V, or just clicking on this cube and saying copy and then paste, like so. So just gonna delete that cube, and you can do that easily by right-clicking on here and then just delete. Alright, so now that we have that done, just go over here and I'm gonna click on the arrow signs right over here, and I'm going to move this just so it's out right outside of the sight. And lastly, oh, and also I just want to make sure that these brick walls that I have, these walls that I have right here are protruding in front of this background brick wall that I have. So go ahead and switch to 3D, and we're going to change this to the Y so we can look down at our scene. like so. So yeah, change it to 3D, and now as you can see, it is not protruding in front of the brick wall. So I'm just going to head and moving those walls forward because we want these walls to actually keep a ball inside of our scene. All right, now let's go back to our 2D, and now let's just go ahead and copy and paste. Sorry for saying just go ahead so many times. I want to apologize for that. All right, now I'm going to change the size of this wall just so it fits the top of the scene like so, and then go ahead and copy and paste that, and then just move that down so it's the bottom wall. And let's go ahead and look at our 3D again with the go ahead. All right, look at our 3D, and they are all protruding in front of our back brick wall, so that is perfectly fine. That is exactly how we want it. All right, now let's go ahead and add, I need to stop it. Okay, now let's let's create a 3D object, and this will be another sphere. And go over here to your x-axis right here, and we're gonna move this so you can see the ball actually. And as you can see, it's right inside of this brick wall, the walled area, so that is exactly how we want it. All right, now go back to switching to 2D, and we have this ball. Now, right now, it's not going to do anything. We can click play, and nothing happens. So first thing we want to do is add a component, and this component will be, go in your inspector, you just go add component, and this will be physics rigid body. Now, we can use gravity, like so, and then that will automatically make this ball move around like so. And one thing you'll notice is this ball is actually going to slide out from the walls. So the way to fix that is actually go over here to your rigid body, and right under here you will see constraints. I am going to lock the Z position. Now the Z position is, if I can explain this, here is the X value, and then up and down is the Y value. And then if we switch to 3D, Z value is going back and forward. So the less the Z value, say I'm decreasing the Z value right now. So I'm making it go behind everything. Whereas if I were to increase the Z value, that would make everything go in front, like so. So yeah, that is the Z value. So I'm locking the Z value, and that is how I want it. So now if we were to play this, it would not roll out from our walls anymore. All right, and I'm also gonna change this bottom walls just so we can have the ball just sitting slightly on top of the wall, and do the same with our top. All right, now let's go ahead and click on our person right here, and we want to add a material to him. So let's go ahead and say create material, and this will be, we can easily just call this person material, like so. So now we have this person material, and it doesn't have a pattern on it, so I just grabbed this soccer pattern that I just found online. You can create your own soccer pattern, it doesn't really matter. I just found this is tutorial purposes, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to click and drag this soccer pattern that I found online, and just add that into my texture. And now click and drag that person material texture onto our ball, onto our sphere person, like so. And now we have a texture of a soccer ball. And right now we can also change the tiling so we have it looking a bit better. It's gonna look terrible either way, but there we are. We have our soccer ball, and as you can see, it also rotates, or it should rotate. Here, we need to go back to our 3D editor, and the way you can actually make this rotate is just by clicking on our ball, on our sphere, and just making it slightly touch this background wall right there. And now you should that should add some friction onto our scene. Maybe even there. There we are. Now it has some friction, the ball, so now it's going to spin around, and you can also see that as these arrows are moving around like so. So if you like that, it's there. If you don't, just leave it. Alright, now that we actually have our sphere set up with a rigid body, let's go ahead and click on our sphere again, and we want to add another component, and this will be a script. So this script, we're just going to call this movement, and create and add that into our scene. And then let's go ahead and open up our movement.cs folder file that we just created. And also, just for some reason, when I type into Mono Development, my screen recording software just doesn't work. So I'm going to have to paste my code. I'm very sorry for that, but I'm going to have to paste my code. But I will explain very thoroughly on what each code means. So now if I go paste, I have I just created a public float and a public float for move speed and max speed. So what this is holding, the move speed, is how fast the ball is going to be added onto our rigid body, and then right down here we have the maximum speed, and this max speed will be how fast it can go. So when all these move speed is added, we're just trying to see how fast it can go. Now let's go ahead and save that. So just go File, Save, and then when you go back here into your file, click on your sphere, you will see that right here where your script was created, we have the move speed and the max speed variables. So now you can actually edit these straight in Unity, and it's a lot better that way, because when you're testing you can actually see, oh, that looks good or not. And it's just very simple and easy. So that's a great way that Unity incorporates that into your thing, into your project. So now we have that, and then we created a private vector3, and if you don't know what a vector3 is, it's this basically right here. So we have three vectors. We have the x, the y, and the z values. So that's what a vector3 is. And according to this vector3, we have our x-axis, our y-axis, and the z-axis. So when we created this, we just created our input, which is actually going to be what direction we want our person to move according to the input that was given, such as if we push the up arrow, it's going to move it up, or if it push the left or right arrow, it's going to move it left or right. So it's all just getting information from those keys that we press, and then it's creating that into a vector that we can actually use. And now if we go down here, then we're right here we have an if statement. If rigidBody.velocity.magnitude. So what this is saying, if the magnitude of velocity that the rigid body is going at, or how fast the rigid body is, if that is less than the maximum speed, then we will add more force onto our rigid body. So you go rigid body.add force, and you say input times move speed. So according to this, your input is actually your vector3 that's going on. So when I click the up arrow, it will automatically be added or multiplied by move speed, and that just adds things along. So let's go ahead and save that again. Oh, it's already saved. So let's go back to our Unity project, and let's build and run this. And now when we build and run this, you will see that when I click the up arrow, it automatically moves the ball around, and everything just works beautifully, and it runs into the walls, and it won't go out of the screen. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I'm sorry that I had to copy and paste. For some reason, QuickTime didn't record everything properly, but I hope you guys got something out of this tutorial and you really learned. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I'm learning Unity myself right now, so I hope to be able to improve my skills and share my skills with you guys through this Unity game programming series that I'm going to be doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, be sure to like it down below, and also be sure to subscribe if you want to see more tutorials like this from me in the future. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Yeah.